Hello everyone, watch this review here with a look at Titanium Man from the Iron Man 1 line. Now this was a figure that I didn't originally see in stores anywhere, but as luck would have it, this is something that popped up in Marshall's quite some time later. So kind of worked out all around because it's also cheaper there. Very awesome looking figure. Happy I was able to finally get my hands on this one, even if it's quite a while after the fact. Hold on a second and I'll get this out of pack. Now, before we go any further, you might be thinking that Titanium Man looks a little different, and indeed he does. Supposedly, this is the version of the character that appeared in the Iron Man game that went along with the first movie. I don't know for sure, I never made it that far in the game. Really terrible controls. Awesome flight system, but the gameplay, yeah. At any rate, it's just a really decent looking figure, but it has one sort of major problem, and that would simply be scale. Now, when you put it up against your Marvel Legends, he's quite a bit short, so I'm not sure if they were relying on a smaller scale for this line because I didn't really collect it, or if the character is supposed to be shorter, which wouldn't make a lot of sense admittedly, especially given that this is a suit of armor. The one only sort of plus is that it is a bit bulkier than a sort of standard looking character, so at least that sort of jives realistically. However, the other neat thing is, if you're just displaying him as more of a generic villain, just toss him up against a Marvel Universe character. Looks much more menacing that way. Now this figure does come with one accessory here, or one accessory in 3 parts, and that is this silly, what's it called, double concussion blast. It's a weapon that snaps onto his forearm / wrist, and then it looks like you have to just press the back of the projectile to fire it. Okay, I don't know how to use a children's toy. I put the stupid thing in backwards. But yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. It actually works this way. It does have a fair amount of kick, although I doubt you'll ever really pose the character with it on because it looks kind of awkward in addition to being silly. And you know what? Really not necessary to enjoy this figure, because it has a pretty wicked sculpt and also character design, in addition to having a fair amount of articulation. Only sort of drawback is just the hand positions, where you have like one open, one closed. Not really sure what they do with the clenched fist, because if this is really based on the Mark III, it probably would have a blaster right here in the palm, which it doesn't actually appear to, but in general, probably would have preferred it either both open-handed or both closed-handed. Probably more open. The other sort of complaint, too, is just the fact that, the hands don't seem to pose in any really great way. You'll notice that it's on a ball joint here, so it does get a fair amount of forward motion, just no back motion, or very little due to the sculpt. It's even worse in this hand because he has some additional parts here, which I presume are probably for firing some sort of electricity or beam or something. Again, didn't make it up that far. I think I got sick of it in the whiplash level, which was like the 2nd or 3rd level. Kind of sucks. Mine apparently has a paint defect, or portions kind of melted or glue or something. Really kind of funky. Really weird. I don't know what the heck that is. Other than that, not a whole lot of paint detail, but it sort of works, just given that it's like a, what's it called, like a gunmetal gray. So yeah, very awesome looking. In terms of articulation, again, we have a little ball joint here on each of the wrists. Gets a lot more inward motion than outward. Double jointed elbows. One part on the forearm, one part up here more on the bicep. Yeah, it's a fairly good range of motion. It's sort of similar to what they did with the Walmart stuff, I believe, for the 6-inch ones. Now the little shoulder pad is connected by a peg to the thing, so it's not at risk of falling off. It's not really sculpted on, and you do get a sort of cool range of motion with it, but it will impede in places. We also have a point of rotation here at the bicep, and the shoulder joint works as I just demonstrated. Head, very minor, up, down. Full range of rotation otherwise. We have a torso joint here. Kind of full range of motion except for this little part that impedes it from going forward much. Legs, I didn't really care too much for. It's a ball with point of rotation at the hip. It's a bit nicer than the other ones which only go out one way, but at the same time it's just so impeded due to the, I guess, the groin plate area or whatever. All the same, a lot of these joints just seem to move kind of smoothly, although the knees and wrists are weak on mine. Double jointed knees. Then we have a point of rotation and then up down at the ankles. Ooh. All things considered, this Titanium Man has a sort of really cool generic sci-fi vibe to him, which works out if you don't display him with your other Marvel / Iron Man products. I really like the look of this figure. I just kind of wish that he had say, alternate hands and stuff. And just maybe some normal projectiles, but that's just kind of how it goes. But this has been a look at Titanium Man, the version sort of based on the game, from one of the Marvel Iron Man lines released in 2008. Till next time, folks, and just my apologies for the sort of slip-ups here and there.